I am actually really excited about who this team is going to become. This is the national team for Canada minus their a couple of their WNBA players, and I think we showed glimpses of what we're going to become, and then we showed a lot of things we really need to address and get to address and get cleaned up. But we talked about today that this game was going to show us our floor. It was not going to absolutely show nothing about who we're going to become later. And so I think we've only practiced 3 times and as a whole group, and we didn't fight fatigue very well. We're not in game shape. That was pretty evident. When we got tired, we didn't fight our fatigue enough to choose teamwork plays. But all those things I'm mentioning are fixable issues. That the mistakes that we made are feedback things, and I really give a lot of credit to Tamia Gardner and to KK Bransford. We came in the locker room, and I thought they were spectacular leaders, and they just blew life into the team and said, "Hey, we are going to be so good when we get things cleaned up, when we learn what our chemistry is like." And we showed glimpses. We just didn't show consistency. And so those are fixable and teachable things. And so I'm really proud of the individual plays that we made, but I know there's more collective plays coming.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with Mike Regalado.
You're muted, Mike. You're out of practice.
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Yeah, you hit it on the head about only having a few practices, but what did you see early on? What have you seen in practice, and what did you see in this game specifically? And then Sienna, you look like you just took control early on, and it looked like Canada had some tough, had to defend you pretty tough throughout the game. What are your thoughts on how you played?
Why don't you go first, and then I'll go.
Okay. I mean, obviously, I'm still working for it, but I can tend to be kind of a perfectionist, so I'm kind of thinking of those little things that I really
kind of.
Yeah, I can be really a big perfectionist. So I'm thinking of this stuff like later on when I got fatigued and started taking poor shots and maybe not making the right decision on offense and defense. I'm thinking about those little things, but it was just really fun to go out there and play with the group. Honestly, that's my biggest takeaway for the game.
I thought Sienna was absolutely great, especially the first quarter. And, I'm not the only one that said that. Nell Fortner, the head coach of the Canadian national team, was like, Sienna is going to be a dominant force in women's college basketball. And she's, I was really proud because she really did the work all day to get herself mentally ready to come out and start that way, because she was nervous and this was a first time. And so I'm really proud of the work she did mentally, and it showed up physically in the first half. And then second half, she's going to work through there's no there's no media timeouts. So there's just a lot of adversity things, there are distractions that can come up. Tony did a great job in the locker room of saying, look, there's a lot of things that are distractions in this game. It's called very differently. The warm-ups are different. The timeouts are different. There's a lot of differences. But there's also, when you're stepped in between the lines and the game is going, there's a lot they know. And that's what we're really challenged in there, is to stick with what they know. And we'll teach through the other part, but we got to do a better job of just playing more teamwork plays. I think we showed some great individual plays. I thought Donovan's on-ball defense was just awesome. I thought that Bonnie D's offensive rebounding was just spectacular. I thought Sienna and Addie Brown, when they got clean scoring catches, I thought they showed great individual plays. What we need to clean up is that we're not doing collective teamwork plays with enough consistency.
Thank you.
We'll go with David Yapkowitz next.
Hey, everyone. Good evening. For Sienna, actually, you aside from the numbers, you were out there vocal in the huddles, talking with your teammates on the court, and even though this is only going to be your second season as one of the key returners, how do you feel like, you've kind of been able to use your voice early on and kind of emerge as a leader?
Yeah, I mean, I've grown up being the leader on most of my teams, national team, club team, high school teams. So, and I've grown in that and worked on that throughout high school. And I'm excited to fit it to that to go into that role here and do whatever the team needs and whatever Coach Cori demands from me if I want that, and I do really want that. So, it starts now and it starts in these kind of games when we're tired, fighting through that. And I could have done way better, but I know that's something I'm definitely working on. Yeah.
Jack Hazlitt, you're next.
Hey, Coach. You touched on it a little bit with Tamia, but just with her being this veteran presence on the team, one of like your longest tenured player, even with this small sample size, how do you foresee her just being a leader, that locker room presence that you touched on in your opening statement?
Well, I think that, Tamia has proven that. Tamia proved that back when Dono played with her back at Oregon State. It's a gift that she has stewarded well and developed incredibly. And I think it's one of the silver linings of when having to sit out last year is that she had to really learn how to assert herself in a really productive and influential way. And she has done that consistently. And it's so fun to get her out here now. She's getting close to being cleared and she's doing great. But I don't think anything is as valuable as her voice and her knowledge of the game, her composure. I would also say that KK has really stepped into that for us, and it was exposed us actually, because they're probably two of our best talkers. And I do think Donovan and Sienna are right there also. But I think when we get those two back, I think that's going to really just add to that. Because if I were to pick one thing that we didn't do consistently tonight that would have covered for many other things, is we didn't talk with consistency. And so therefore, what you do when you don't talk is you respond on islands, you respond individually. And when we start to learn to talk as a habit, and to call every screen and to call every cut and to call what our coverage is on defense and to make each other better, that's going to cover a multitude of sins, so to speak. And so I think Tamia is someone we're really looking to be that kind of person.
We'll take a question from Isabel Gonzalez.
Hey guys. So I just talked to your sister recently, Sienna. I talked to Lauren. So I had to ask, has she given you any advice so far, for the off season? And did she give you any advice ahead of this game?
No, honestly, no. I think she gave me advice, honestly, just watching her throughout the year, but it wasn't like there was this conversation where she talked about it. I think that's just kind of who I am. I'm not a person to be like, oh, I need help on this. And that could be a weakness, but that's also could be a strength. I kind of just want to figure it out on my own and lead in my own way, not exactly how Lauren did, but maybe even better. Not saying anything bad about her.
I think that one of the things, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Sienna, but I think one of the things that's really great about what they're experiencing now is they can just be sisters and they don't have to be teammates or comparisons or whatever else. They both are having incredible journeys on their own. And I think the way they're communicating is trying to honor that. Is that fair?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll take a final question from Tracy McDonald.
Yeah, we'll stay as long as you need to, guys.
Hey, thanks for taking the time, Coach.
Of course.
A couple of questions. First for you, Coach, just what do you think about the rebounding capabilities of your backcourt, especially somebody like Bonnie, who's, put up numbers, but even though you look at her size, you don't think she can rebound, but what is it about her instincts that makes her an effective rebounder?
Yeah, it's interesting when Sam Skinner, our GM, brought her from the portal to me as an opportunity, and he showed me her rebounding stats. I was like, come on, seriously? And then I had to go watch film and see that in the SEC, consistently, she found ways to come up with rebounds. And it really comes down to want to and effort. And just she's got a sort of a mean streak in her, like nobody can stop me from getting this ball. And I love that about her. And so when she combines that aggression level, and I think both Donovan and Bonnie bring rebounding. In our practices, they've been our leading offensive rebounders consistently, our two guards. And Donovan is the same way that way. She just comes up with ones or keeps balls alive that you don't think a guard should be able to do. But also they're phenomenal on-ball defenders. And I want to shout out Sienna in the locker room. She was just praising the on-ball defense of those guards. And she was also taking responsibility that, man, I could have helped you more. My angles and coverages could have been better. But I think our on-ball defense with Donovyn Hunter specifically and Bonnie Dees, I think that's going to be a weapon for us because they're willing to pick up full court. They have an aggression level. They believe it's not even just the rebounds, it's also the loose balls they got. So I'm really excited about how many possessions that's going to generate from our team and such a compliment to their heart.
And Donovan, for you, just as one of the veterans in that backcourt, what kind of calming presence do you think you're going to be able to bring to some of the younger guards?
Yeah, I think one, just experience. And as she talked about, I'm learning to use my voice more amongst the team. But I think just the small things. I think as you get older and you've played enough years in college basketball, you learn that it's the small details that people aren't willing to do. So I think focusing on that, because we can't control if our shots go in, we can't control a lot of things, but what we can control is defense, talking as we're working on that. But just bringing the little things to the team that I can, so that way, even if I'm not necessarily vocally doing it to my best potential every day, hopefully the younger ones are able to just watch and see the small habits that are hopefully consistently showing.
And I just want to, I know I keep piggybacking on what they're saying, but think about what you've just heard from them. What you've heard from them are things I can't teach. So a desire to outwork their opponents, the desire to lead, the desire to learn from every circumstance, to learn from their mistakes, to own their things and go to the next level from them. I can't buy the experience that Dono has, leading teams to 3 straight Elite Eights at 2 different schools. Those are things that are just going to make our foundation so strong. And then everything else that it's July. It is July and we've practiced all together for 3 days. And so I actually am encouraged. I'm very excited about what this team is going to go into. I know our process works. I know my coaching staff is going to outwork almost anybody else. I know these players are committed to winning habits and to being selfless teammates. And so as long as those things stay together, I love what this team's going to grow into. And I also just want to thank you guys. We want to build momentum. We're going to have a very exciting time in Southern California for women's basketball. I'm telling you, this team is going to grow into a really special group, and they have a great story that they're going to write on their own and to grow into. And we just have a really special year coming up in Southern California college basketball, and we need you guys to amplify it at every chance you get, all the way across. And even in July, I need you guys. And so thank you guys for showing up tonight and continuing to tell our stories. And I'm really confident that you're going to like what this group grows into.
Coach, it looks like we've got one more from Tracy.
Yep.
I don't know if I couldn't remember if you addressed this earlier, but was there a status update with KK? Because I know she practiced that practice we saw, so I didn't know if there was anything like precautionary that kept her out.
Yeah, it really is precautionary. We're just trying, to be really smart about what she's doing. She may even get some minutes in the next game. We're not sure yet, but it's definitely precautionary. And I don't have a timetable yet, but we just, those seniors that have been through a lot, we don't want to mess around because she's going to be a great impact player for us. I would say that if you were to ask me what some of my biggest surprises have been, KK's ability to impact our team right off the bat has been a really awesome, I wouldn't say surprise, but it's been better than I even expected. And so we want to make sure that we're really wise in how we go about it. And we just didn't think it was the wisest to put her out there today.
Jack, one more from you.
Hi, Sienna. You touched on it a little bit earlier on in the conference, but just this adjustment for you, kind of playing these starter minutes and this volume of time on the court, what have been the biggest aspects that have been the biggest change for you and the adjustment going into this first very early on game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's just only one game and it's not like a real game yet. But honestly, I think it's just, way more minutes than I'm used to. Like, got to get in better shape. But it's like only a couple weeks of practice. I think it's just the mentality, like fighting through. I feel like just when you have more gaps, like I did last year, you kind of just got to go burst first. It kind of just like I have to reach a different level of just being able to fight through, and I'm willing to attack that. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah.
Sienna's going to be one of the most dominant forwards in the entire country. Period. Truth. She will. She's going to earn it. We need her to be that, and she's perfectly capable of executing on that. And that is absolutely what I expect her to do this year for our team.